What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve.
I'm Lindsay.
Today we're going to be reacting to the UK's main three political parties, the Conservatives, the Labour, and the Liberal Democrats. And we're also going to kind of learn about what are the differences between the left-wing, center, and right-wing when it comes to UK politics. I've been wanting to learn about the main political parties for quite some time now, and I have heard that there are some differences. Their Conservative Party might be more liberal than our Conservative Party. They're more left-wing in general in the UK than the US is. Some people, I don't know if this is true or not, let us know in the comments, or maybe we'll learn that in this video, but some people I've seen in comments say that our Democrat Party is considered right-wing in the UK.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, that would be really surprising to us.
I don't know if that's accurate.
I don't think that's accurate. From the little bit that I know about politics in the UK, which isn't a ton, but it doesn't seem like that's the case, knowing what I know about the Conservative and the Liberals here in the US.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out. But this is something I really got interested in looking into since we looked into the election. What was that, a week or so ago?
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I guess we'll go ahead and jump into it and learn about your political parties and the left, center, and right, and see how similar or how different it is from here in the US.
Now, when it comes to the UK and specifically its political parties, they tend to lean towards the left or the right. Now, the one thing you need to remember is to do with political participation. Essentially, all this means when you hear this term bandied about is how we as voters take place in how our country is run by voting for a party.
There are 300 political parties in the UK. What? Okay.
That blows my mind.
I'm thinking, okay, I want to look at the main three, and then I'd like to look at the minor parties as well, but that's impossible. 300. All right, guys, so I would love to know, what are the main minor parties? Because obviously you have the three main ones here, I'm guessing, and then there's 200 and some minor parties, it looks like. So let us know. Obviously, probably one of those is the Green Party. There is the Reform Party I just heard about that got some seats. Who else? I can't remember. Let us know in the comments, guys. What are some of the other main minor parties outside of these top three?
Party. So of course this is what is called active participation, and the varying degrees of active participation.
Okay, every party has a manifesto.
But also we can be part of a political parties. There are over 300 political parties in the UK.
That's insane.
Each which have a manifesto, which is a document that sets out the beliefs. We can be members of these political parties, but we can even take it a step further and really participate in the daily activities of these parties, such as leafleting and supporting campaigns to raise awareness.
Same here.
Funds for these parties. Now, when it comes to
the
political parties, and when we are choosing which parties we want to stand for, there's usually the notion that political parties are either seen as left-wing or right-wing. Now, what do these ideas really mean? What does...
Yeah, I'm curious about that, guys. I would say here in the US, you typically would see the same thing. Either a party is left-wing or right-wing. We don't really have anything any parties that I consider centrist. Now, you could look at a party like the Green Party and say, oh, they're centrist. No, they're left-wing. You could look at a party like the Libertarians and say, oh, no, they're centrist. No, the Libertarian Party would be more right-wing if you think about it. So let us know in the comments, guys. I mean, I guess it's accurate that your parties are the same. They're either falling on the left or the right. No center, really.
What does left-wing really mean, and what does right-wing really mean? Now, left-wing is a broad category. Now,
I'd say
what
both
this category encompasses, what it includes is, firstly, the government should be far more involved in our lives. We should have more of a nanny state, a state
and
that
I feel like that's
distributes
the same here,
wealth
left-wing,
amongst us
all.
Yeah,
totally.
Funds the private, or rather the public sector services, such as providing us with free healthcare, free education, and so on. And another component of left-wing beliefs and values is the idea of high taxation. Left-wing values favor the idea of higher taxation so that these taxes can fund these different public sector services. We all get a similar level of education because lots of state schools are better funded. We all can get access to healthcare and so on. So really, generally, left-wing people want to see less of a divide between the wealthy and the poor, or even between the upper class, middle class and working classes. Support the idea of a welfare state, a state that gives us all of these essential services. And the final element is this idea of business, this idea that businesses, especially large businesses, can be quite bad in the sense that all they care about is profits, not people. So actually it would be better to nationalize these businesses, put them under the control of the state so that the state can offer more public sector jobs and the state can look after us better. This is different to right-wing values and beliefs. Now,
I would say, generally speaking, that for the most part, what she just mentioned is left-wing. That's pretty much probably what you would say for the most part left-wing here. But there is some crossover with some of that. When it comes to, for example, when she was talking about the schools, here in the U.S., it's generally the right wing that wants school choice, which would give the opportunity for people that live in low income areas that don't have good school options, the ability to travel outside of their district to other schools and things like that. So I think there is some crossover here where some of what would be considered left wing here would be considered right wing here in the U.S. and probably vice versa.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But to be honest, I can't imagine there's anyone that falls exclusively on the left or right paradigm.
Not if they're honest with themselves.
Like, I will tell you right off the bat that I don't fall for either 100%. I pick and choose what I feel's best from both. And I think that's... And
you prioritize what's the most important issues.
Right.
And,
the most important issues to the least important issues. Because let's face it, there are certain things that are much more important than others to
us versus someone else.
And to the prosperity of the country as a whole, too.
Generally speaking, right-wing people believe firstly that the state is important, it should have a role, but really in providing things like ensuring the roads are paved, we have good infrastructure, our streets are clean, our police are funded enough so that people who are committing crime, they're put in prisons. But really, that's mainly the state's job.
And protection,
beyond that,
probably.
Such as providing, for example, free healthcare, schools, choosing how much taxes we pay and increasing lots of taxes, that's not the state's job, that's our job. Also, another aspect of right-wing values is that not everybody is equal. In other words, not everybody will make the same amount of money. Some people are simply hardworking and therefore they deserve to make more money if they become quite successful in what they work hard at.
Business is very good, keeps the country wealthy and brings in new innovations. Money is an incentive. Private sector is inefficient, slow, and not ideal. Okay, that is something very different. Here in the U.S., the right wing would say the public sector is inefficient, slow, and not ideal, not the private sector. The private sector is generally what the right wing wants to do is privatize more stuff. Extremely high taxes on rich people is bad. It kills innovation, puts people off hard work. Minimum wage is okay, but people should work hard for what they earn. Does anybody disagree that people should work hard for what they earn?
People who believe that everyone should be equal, which I know this isn't about my personal beliefs, but I personally don't think that there is such a thing as equality.
100% equality.
You can't. We're humans. We're all different. We all have different strengths and weaknesses.
And that's not about race or sex or any of those qualities.
No, but as individuals,
work ethic and things like that.
You literally can't be equal to one another in every degree. It's just impossible.
No. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Minimum wage, okay. Private property must be protected at all costs. I mean, isn't that something we would all agree on, that private property must be protected?
Well, I don't know what she means by all costs.
Yeah, I don't know what she means by at all costs.
Are you saying with the weapons or what?
Well, what I'd say here, looking at these two lists, I would say that I think we all would fall somewhere in the middle here. I think we should all be able to pick from both the left wing and right wing.
I think that's the problem, especially nowadays, is that people are so stuck in one box
Yep.
that you can't ever compromise and you can't ever see, okay, well, this is what's good about this side and this is what's good about this side. Why can't
Absolutely.
we meet in the middle and make something different? Like,
Absolutely. That's why I don't belong to a political party, because I don't want to sit there and put all my energy into I'm this. And so then I feel like I have to go along with whatever that political party's ideology
no matter
is.
what.
No matter what. No matter if it goes against my values, my beliefs, just what's logical. And unfortunately, all too often you see people get caught up into this, I'm this, and
And
they
it doesn't even
own
have to
it.
be politics.
No, it
could be
doesn't.
anything
But that's what
in
we're talking
life.
about.
But yeah.
I mean, and go beyond the political party even and say, I'm left wing, I'm right wing. I'm neither. I'm just a guy who looks at
The benefits of this
right.
versus that and tries to choose what you think is best for the overall good.
And I obviously understand everybody's going to fall lean toward one
Right,
direction, right?
right.
You're not going to be, I'm exactly in the middle. You're going to lean towards a direction, but no one should be completely off in that side or that side.
And say that you're going to vote this way no matter what, no matter who it is.
Right.
Just because that's who I am.
That's why we get our countries in trouble, because
At least here in the US.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that in the UK.
yes, but here in the US it's definitely like that.
Yeah.
It's not up to the state to own the property of individuals and then distribute it evenly. That is not acceptable. Now, with that in mind, of course, when we look at the political landscape of the UK in particular,
What
as
is
I've mentioned
this?
before, there are over 300 political parties,
Some kind of
but we're going to look
communist
at
party, I would think.
just a few of them, and especially the three major ones, which are the Conservative Party, Labour Party,
Tories.
and Liberal Democrats. Now, the general idea of the left wing versus right wing, these are two very extreme views, and
What is this right here?
UKIP.
UKIP.
Independent Party, maybe? United Kingdom Independent Party?
Maybe.
the major parties actually sit somewhere in the center. So when it comes to, if you see in the Green section,
see.
Labour, Lib Dems,
The
and
Liberal
Green Party,
Democrats are
they are center right.
more
So
center
they
than
don't only
Labour.
have very hardcore left wing beliefs. This is, if you see the other logo, this is the British Communist Party. They have very strong
Oh.
left wing beliefs, right? So they are extremely left. However, the parties which are very popular, they're the ones which are somewhat center, and of course towards the right. So center right is the Conservative Party, so they incorporate some left-wing values. They make room for things like such as the NHS, which is a publicly funded healthcare system and service. However, of course, they don't only believe in right-wing values and hardcore right-wing values. Now, a group that really sticks very closely to these right-wing values and is far more to the right is the UK Independence Party. Now, let's have a look at just the beliefs of the three main UK political parties, starting with the Conservatives. Now, the Conservative Party believes in, firstly, a greater emphasis on the private sector, which is business run, over the public sector, which they see as more
Same here.
inefficient.
That would be the same here.
Secondly, they favour lower taxation on people and on businesses, less state investment in the country, and less is to build infrastructure and just essential services, bin collection and things like that. The third element of conservative beliefs
preserve
is
tradition
the
like the UK's
importance of
monarchy.
preserving tradition, such as the UK monarchy. The fourth element
Lead the European Union, limiting your immigration into the UK. Only very skilled immigrants can come in. The poor should still be helped by the state, but people who can work can't just live off benefits. They should be encouraged to go back to work.
The Labour Party believes, firstly, that the state should actually provide for those less fortunate in the society, so that's why they're centre left. Secondly, there should be more public sector jobs. Thirdly, high-earning people should pay higher taxes. Fourthly, public services like the NHS and state schools should get more funding. And of course, this funding is going to be gotten from charging high-earning people higher taxes. The fifth element of Labour beliefs is that immigration is actually quite good.
That kind of reminds me of the Democrat Party a little bit here in the US.
The final major political party is the Liberal Democrats, which we colloquially refer to as the Lib Dems. Now, the Liberal Democrat Party believes, firstly, the state should provide for those less fortunate in society, similarly to the Labour Party. However, in contrast to the Labour Party, they lean more towards the state also looking after business. The private sector is also equally important. So even if they're on the left,
so that's quite different.
Closer to the right and closer to conservatives in that sense than the Labour Party. Also, the Lib Dems believe that lowering taxes isn't actually good. The government does need money to invest into things like infrastructure to make us all more efficient. But, however, the fourth element is extremely high taxes on the other side is also bad because it's going to...
Okay. All right. I think I get...
So they're in the middle basically between conservative and Labor.
I think they seem to be closer to Labor than conservative, but they have... They're more right-leaning than the Labor Party is in terms of business, taxation, and just overall things like that. Seems like
that's the key difference.
It seems like financially they're a little closer to the conservatives than they are to the Labor Party, but when it comes to more social issues, they're closer to the Labor Party. This was interesting, and I saw some differences in what I would say our left wing and right wing are here, especially when it comes to the school thing. That's the thing that I picked up most of all. When it comes to the Conservative Party in general, it seems like for the most part, I would say that's generally lines up with the Republicans.
For the most part, yeah.
And I heard someone say that our Democrat Party is considered conservative in the UK. And based off of what it says here, it doesn't seem like that at all, actually.
I mean, we just don't know.
I don't know all the facts, obviously, about the politics in the UK, but based off what I learned here, it doesn't seem to be the case. I would say that the current Democrat Party aligns with the Liberal Party or the Labour Party here pretty well.
Yeah.
For the most part. There are some differences, obviously. I do believe that maybe I could see that maybe the Labor Party was more left-leaning on average than our Democrat Party, maybe. But maybe the Liberal Democrats are closer to our Democrat Party. I'm not really sure. But this was interesting, guys.
It is. It helped me understand it a lot better.
Yeah,
granted, that's just like three.
Right, that's three of the parties, and
out of 300.
And obviously, it goes so much more in depth when you know that they all have their own manifestos. I guess those manifestos are basically telling you what they plan to do if they have the ability to do so. Those will be interesting to look into.
Yeah.
Plus, guys, let us know what political parties we should look deeper into. Any of these should we look deeper into, or should we look into some of the minor parties like the Reform Party, for example? Very interested in this topic. I definitely love politics in the U.S. I don't like being on a side because I'm not really. Guys, very interesting. You got anything you want to add before we go?
No, I think we covered it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover anything and everything from the UK and Ireland. Till next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.